Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. The data for SVG-TV's visitor arrivals is expected to see an increase from the exposure at Dubai Expo 2020. This is according to Executive Director of Invest SVG, Annette Mark, who told SVG-TV News that the benefits of participating on a world stage exposition are far-reaching for a small island state like SVG.
It is really a matter of after the entire expo that we hope to see some uptake in our visitor arrivals, and definitely where investments are concerned. Being in Dubai, what it has allowed us to do as an island nation is to get our name out there and to promote our island on the world stage. And it has been a great opportunity, and we are taking advantage as much as we can to ensure that our name is out there, St. Vincent and Grenadines, our product, that we are, and definitely our high-end tourism product that we have here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, which appeals quite a lot to persons within that region.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been on showcase at Expo Dubai 2020 for the past 4 months. During this time, thousands of persons have reportedly passed through the Opportunity Pavilion, where a team from Invest SVG is promoting St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
And we still have a great turnout to St. Vincent and Grenadines Pavilion. When people come in, we make sure that there's that human element still of interactions with persons visiting the pavilion. So we walk them through the pavilion. We tell them about St. Vincent and the Grenadines, about our investments, our beautiful island, and come and visit, how you can visit, etc. And that normally seems to go quite a long way. Of course, there are persons that know of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and will come to the pavilion just seeking us out because they have heard of us, or they've visited, or they know someone who's visited. And we get quite a few of those people also coming to the pavilion.
According to Mark, persons are also sourcing products and items unique to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Definitely interesting people come into the pavilion. What we have besides all of the stuff that are on display, which is artwork, we have boats from Beckway, we have little certain artifacts. We have a breadfruit on display. We have our national bird, our cannons. We have a number of things on display that are uniquely St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We also have an area that sort of depicts that Pirates of the Caribbean was filmed on location in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and also we have conch shells in the pavilion, which seems to be a humongous hit with persons coming into the pavilion. And then we have a retail shop that has a number of items from sauces to bags to T-shirts to books in the retail shop. There has been a lot of interest in our sources.
Meanwhile, Mark said she was very pleased with the observance of SVG's National Day in Dubai on Valentine's Day, February 14th. A flag-raising ceremony kick-started the day's activities when all eyes at Dubai Expo 2022 were on St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mark said although it was a packed day, it was a fruitful one for SVG.
Quite a success. On that day, we had an investment forum in the morning, and that was followed by a luncheon that was hosted by the Bahrain Pavilion. And then we had the official flag raising ceremony, the playing of the national anthem, speeches by the Prime Minister, and also the Commissioner General, the chair of Expo Dubai, and of course the cultural presentation. And also on that day we had a number of other performances by other artists on separate stages, and then it culminated with a banquet in the evening. What was what was outstanding about that day, well, some of the points that came out of that day, besides the investment forum, we had quite a few high net worth persons who had attended the investment forum with interest in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves was present in Dubai for SVG's National Day, and his presence reportedly made an impact on investors. Mark said the entertainment contingent also did a great job on the big day and thanked all those involved in pulling off a successful SVG National Day in Dubai. Speaking on the establishment of a diplomatic mission in Dubai, the Investor SVG Executive Director said she is happy this will be done, including the appointment of a prominent businessman in Dubai as SVG's Goodwill Ambassador.
So his name is Sheikh Hamid Al Hamid, and we did meet him in October where we had our meet and greet networking event. He came to that event. And was recommended to us by someone else. So in having certain dialogue with him, and of course, he was recommended to be our ambassador. He was recommended as to be connected to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And of course, you know, the process went through all the due diligence and everything like that. And he has accepted the position, and we are quite happy about that. It does strengthen our bilateral relations with the UAE, both setting up the mission and appointing him as a Goodwill Ambassador.
SVG will continue to have a presence at the exposition as Dubai Expo 2020 comes to an end on March 2022. Before wrapping up, Mark said SVG will be collaborating with St. Kitts and Nevis to host competitions, and also next month travel agencies will be in the spotlight, which is an opportunity they are hoping to take advantage of to further promote SVG.
The Ministry of Education roll out its recovery program called ROLES, Recovery of Learning and Emotional Support Program, which basically is a 2-year, in the first instance, program designed as a
Minister of Education Curtis King said that with estimated 206 school days that were lost over the last 2 years due to the pandemic and the eruption of La Soufrière volcano, the Recovery of Learning and Emotional Supports ROLES program has so far been successful in addressing the learning time lost. Speaking at the handing over ceremony on Tuesday of learning resources to a number of schools, Minister King commended the team for a curriculum unit in the Ministry of Education and teachers who have been working tirelessly to get the students back to their academic levels.
It was November last year, the Ministry of Education rolled out its recovery program called ROLES, Recovery of Learning and Emotional Support Program, which basically is a 2-year, in the first instance, program designed, as I'm saying, to try and catch up, try to recover some of the learning loss. And I must commend the curriculum unit, which is the unit within the Ministry of Education charged with the responsibility of implementing this program. And I know that some students, some teachers, rather than going on holidays, as we call it, had to be in the schools doing one aspect.
Minister King said online teaching, which was put in place to help make up for the loss of learning, had lots of bad experiences and was not a good substitute for face-to-face learning instructions. King noted that though a national assessment conducted with schools island-wide, it found that there was the need for improvements in 3 major areas: literacy, numeracy, and science.
But back to the whole idea of the assessment that was done throughout the primary school. The result of that national assessment is what guided the ministry through the curriculum unit and other supporting staff to arrive at the program that we know today as ROSE. And what was very instructive to us, it was felt coming out of that assessment that the major areas that we ought to focus on was literacy, numeracy, science, and of course afterwards other areas were added, for example music.
The learning resources handed over on Tuesday to schools across SVG came under the RULES program. The resources were funded by UNICEF. Minister of Education King used the opportunity to thank UNICEF for supporting the education sector during these challenging times.
Very happy to identify with this program. And I want also to express the government's appreciation to UNICEF, and more so the regional branch of UNICEF. It's a regional, the Caribbean. I say this because UNICEF was among the first to respond to our requests, if you like, for relief immediately following the volcanic eruption.
Minister King further encouraged the teachers to put the learning resources to good use.
I therefore want to advise the schools, the students who will be using these resources to please let us use them wisely. Let us take care of them. Let us ensure that they play the significant role that they are expected to play in assisting us in our recovery of learning program. So I want once again to thank all who are involved in this program and to extend our appreciation to you for your dedicated efforts. I speak here of the principals, the teachers, parents, because the students need the parental support to get them there and to make sure they do the necessary follow-up.
Meanwhile, outlining the importance of numeracy resources handed over to the schools and how much fun they can add to learning, Education Officer for Mathematics, Joel Patterson, briefly discussed ways in which they can be used by teachers and students in the recovery of learning phase.
Blocks comes in different sizes. You have the ones place value blocks. You also have tens, and place value blocks are very important because it is here the students extend their understanding of mathematics and numbers, where they could do the adding of numbers, the subtraction of numbers, the multiplication of numbers, and also the division. With these place value blocks, these students can recognize the tens place value, and let's say for example the teacher is using addition by regrouping. Here, if you have a certain amount of ones, okay, so let's say you give the students a certain amount of ones, and then you ask the student to use regrouping to separate how many tins you have from this portion that is placed here.
He further encouraged the teachers to make good use of the resources, and he also asked students to appreciate them and to take good care of them. In other news now, on August 5th, 2021, Prime Minister Dr. Alvin Saabs received an injury to his head, allegedly from a protester who threw an object in the direction as he was walking through a crowd of protesters. They were protesting the mandatory vaccination policy for frontline workers as Parliament was in session. 56-year-old resident of Layou, Anne May Lewis, was slapped with 2 charges. However, one was later withdrawn. The charge for throwing a missile remains. On Wednesday, February 9, 2022, the matter came up for hearing in court, and a trial date was set for the end of this year, December 14th, to be exact. Lawyer Bacchus Batiste said she found it to be a long adjournment with no reason given.
I find it's a very long adjournment. I don't know what is the reason for it, and I was not there. I had another court matter, so I really can't comment on why it was adjourned for that long. We are prepared to defend the case when it arises. I have indicated that I have a preliminary objection to make, which we'd have to deal with before the case goes to trial. I have not indicated what the objection is, but I did intimate that in a letter to the magistrate. So that will have to be done first before we go on with the trial. They have given us disclosure, but I still maintain that this is a trumped-up matter in terms of what they have charged her with, and we intend to defend the case.
Bacchus Batiste, who is representing all of the persons involved in the protest in August and September of last year, whose charges were brought against, said several of the cases were discontinued and others are yet to be heard.
As you know, 13 of them were discontinued by the prosecution, nolly-prost. Most of those were nolly-prost, and the other one in Anime was also withdrawn. They asked about 6 or 8 others coming up. One was concluded to be the matter with Ken Finley, who they charged for obstructing traffic when he was in a line with van drivers. So still the matter with John Cali, who was choked almost to death. His own has to come up, and there are some others. The lady who they charged for lighting the fire, that has to come up. They are about 6 in all still to come. There's the one with Adriana King, who they said blocked the Prime Minister's path. But I have not seen a witness statement from the Prime Minister. I don't know how they're going to prove that one, but that one is also still pending.
Today, the case against Ken Finley, who was charged with 3 traffic offenses, came up for hearing at the magistrate court. Given an update, Bacchus Batiste said that 1 charge was dropped and she will be appealing the other 2 convictions.
Dismissed 1 charge and upheld 2, which is very perplexing because the fact that she dismissed that charge shows that she did not believe Colin John. Because if she believed him, she would have had to find him guilty. He was the only person given evidence in the matter that concerned the matter, and obviously she dismissed him because she didn't believe him. So I'm a bit perplexed as to on what ground she upheld the other 2. So I don't know. She did not give a reason, so I cannot understand what the reasons were, but we're appealing those 2 that she upheld.
The SVG police force has launched an investigation into a report of murder and arson that occurred on Valentine's Day, Monday, February 14, 2022, at Cedars, which left 41-year-old aboard Oneo Kuma, Samuel Sutherland, dead. The police say preliminary investigations reveal that on Monday, February 14, 2022, at about 11 p.m., an unknown person or persons caused the death of the deceased by setting fire to his 12 by 13 plywood dwelling house, causing him to receive severe burns to his body. The entire house and its contents, including 3 dogs, were destroyed in the process. Samuel was transported to the Georgetown Medical Complex and later transferred to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital for medical attention. However, he succumbed to his injuries on Wednesday, February 16th. A postmortem examination of the deceased revealed that he died as a result of injuries. The police say that investigations in the matter are ongoing, and persons with information can assist with the investigations are encouraged to contact Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of crimes at telephone number 456-1339 or the officer in charge of Criminal Investigations Department at 456-1810 or the officer in charge of the South Central Division at 458-4200 or any police station or police officer you are comfortable with. All information received would be treated confidentially. And the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force said the Oya Police Station will be reopened to serve the public on Friday, February 25th, 2022. The station was closed in 2021 after it was damaged by Tropical Storm Elsa and the explosive eruptions of La Soufrière volcano. The repair work was done by the staff of Roads, Buildings and General Services Authority, BRAGSA. The building and keys were handed over to the police on February 16, 2022. Commissioner of Police Colin John thanked BRAGSA for its commitment to completing the repairs in a timely manner and the residents of Oya and surrounding areas for their patience and understanding while the station was out of service. A new traffic flow was implemented on Monday, February 21st, 2022 to ease traffic congestion between Arnesville and Kingstown. This seems to be working out well. Speaking on the SU on NBC Radio this morning, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport and Works, Montgomery Daniel, said that the high level of vehicles imported has been a contributing factor to the dense traffic experienced on mornings and afternoons in these areas. Daniel said in 2001, the number of vehicles that were imported were just over 6,000. And today, years later, the number has significantly increased to near 40,000. He said officials from the Ministry of Transport and Works and the Traffic Department of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force met several times to look at ways in which they can improve the overall flow of traffic, especially after the relocation of two major schools to Arnesville.
Nightmare. Worrying, if possible, particularly in the morning as you travel into work, or even on an evening when you are leaving work. You know, it's a matter of concern. Two major secondary schools are now placed at Arnesville, that the traffic in and out has been increased tremendously.
Minister Daniel outlined the changes made to the flow of traffic that was implemented on Monday, which he said seems to be working well.
Some final discussions as to how we see the traffic can proceed. And so as of Monday this week, the 21st of February, the police would have implemented a new system, a new traffic flow, which basically is trying to have all of the traffic merging into one another as you proceed in and out of Kingstown on a morning. That is, interestingly, you have all of the traffic coming from the windward side. It would cross the bridge and onto the tarmac out at Arnesville. And that the traffic coming out of Kingstown to go to Arnesville will merge with the traffic coming down from Maracay. They all merge at the roundabout, head back into Kingstown, and would enter at the gate at Sicker Graves as they turn left, and then the traffic that is coming into Kingstown would move straight into Kingstown.
The Deputy Prime Minister said the traffic branch of the SVG Police Force has reported that they have seen a great improvement in the overall flow of traffic between Arnesville and Kingstown since the changes were made.
From all of the discussions with the police from Monday morning, that this is about the best they can do at this time. As a matter of fact, by 8:30, the police has indicated to me that they themselves were surprised. Basically, all of the high traffic would have been dissipated by 8:30.
10 businesses will next week be vying for cash prizes in a business plan competition organized by the Center for Enterprise Development, Inc. and the Taiwan Technical Mission under the Women's Empowerment Project. The competition is the final activity in the first cohort of the project, which ran from August to December 2021. The project was developed by government of the Republic of China and Taiwan to support its Caribbean and Latin American allies to boost their economies after the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. It aims to strengthen women-owned businesses by providing financial assistance and capacity-building opportunities. The woman will pitch on Friday, 4th of March 2022 before a panel of judges at the Kingston Baptist Church. Of the 10 female entrepreneurs will each walk away with a cash prize of 26,000 EC dollars that they will use to improve and expand their businesses. Meanwhile, the deadline to apply for a place in the second cohort of the WEP SVG is just days away, and the project coordinator, Keisha Phillips, is reminding potential applicants that late applications will not be accepted. She said the project will set participants on a path to social and economic stability, as it will help to improve their business management skills as entrepreneurs and also to possibly gain some financial assistance. For more information on the Women's Empowerment Project SVG, you are asked to contact the office of the Center for Enterprise Development, Inc. at 451-2235.